Hi everyone, Kemthony Coltano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Post Malone album, Austin. Brand new LP from guitarist and vocalist Austin Post, aka Post Malone, keeping busy apparently and giving us a follow-up album to his 2022 record, 12 Carat Toothache, which I didn't love, to be honest. But I think this record was still an interesting move for Post in theory, really shedding a lot of that rap and trap pretense you may have heard on his earlier works to make it even clearer who and what he is at his core, a singer-songwriter who kind of dresses up his tunes in whatever aesthetics he sees fit. Although the aesthetics lately have been pretty awful, because while in one breath 12 Carat Toothache was a more personal and stripped back record for Post, the production and vocals were so glossy and airbrushed and blissed out to where the whole thing sounded soulless, really artificial, no depth sonically anyway. And this time around I was hoping we'd get something maybe more rustic or more intimate, especially since it seems like Post Malone is trying to sell us on this more raw and unfiltered image of himself. And I'm sad to say this record feels only maybe a bit more material and textured than its washed out predecessor. I mean, the opener is pretty good with its painfully relatable lyrics, which deal with insecurity in a relationship, not seeing in yourself what somebody else sees in you. The songwriting and guitar work on this cut is very Cobain-esque, and that acoustic guitar is maybe the most natural sounding thing on the entire album. Even the vocals come across pretty naked, despite the fact that they are soaked in some reverb. I say this because if you like the sound of this song, get ready to be disappointed, because we are immediately leaving Flavortown. Because really quickly the production on this thing gets overdone and overblown. Like with the larger than life chorus vocals and hulking droning tones in the background of Something Real, which just all builds into this obnoxiously impenetrable monolith. There's also Chemical, which I thought was a pretty decent summery single, with some concerning but sympathetic lyrics about the highs and lows of chemical dependency. And again, I like the track, but the sound of it is just so damn glossy. I'm dying to hear a piece of instrumentation that feels like it wasn't computer generated. Like with the track Hold My Breath, for example, what was Post Malone and his collaborators doing with the vocal harmonies on this track? They're horrible. They sound really pitchy and thin, like they're being fed through one of those miniature Tesla coils. Is that too esoteric of a reference? Okay, you know what they sound like? Evil Bon Iver. Yeah, we're going with that. Either way, the sound of it is just so grossly artificial, and it's unfortunate because the emotions behind the song and in the lyrics sound genuine. The chords and instrumental arrangement on overdrive leave a lot to be desired too, as it's maybe the most cliche and formulaic piece of music on the entire record. I didn't know we were gonna get so generic that we're like, you know, bordering on YouTube royalty-free acoustic soft rock levels of bleh. This record in the worst way just feels like being caught between two worlds. On one side, you have the music just sounding so lacking in terms of human touch. But then on top of that, you have Post Malone singing about sobering up, getting clean, his struggles with that, or other relatable topics with kind of a romantic angle, like on Sign Me Up, where he is so lovesick and willing to bend over backwards, he's kind of compromising himself. So yeah, there are tracks on this thing where there is that split, that dynamic, but there are others where not just the instrumentals are taking a nosedive, the lyrics are too. Like Too Cool to Die, which is one of a few songs on this thing that have almost an 80s throwback Stranger Things revival sort of thing going on. And honestly, I'm not really loving Post Malone going back to these 80s vibes. It's kind of like all the idyllic sterility of this era of music, but none of the nostalgic charm. Plus on this track, we have lyrics about this new, fast-moving romance that are so sweet, they're gonna give me freaking diabetes. Not to mention the painfully corny chorus of the world keeps getting hotter, baby, but I'm too cool to die. On the song Socialite, we have some groovy acoustic guitar strumming. Post's vocals hug the border between singing and rapping. In this track, lyrically speaking, pretty much opens the floodgates for pure cringe. Like with I pummel the coochie, I'm Bobby Boucher. Maybe that's why they put up with all my bullshit. Yeah, Adam Sandler and pummeling coochie is just a visual combo I didn't need today. The track is loaded with endless cultural references. Some of them are cute. Others of them, not so cute. It's all very much giving stoner white guy on the beach with his acoustic guitar and all of his college-age friends playing in front of a fire at night. Yeah, just absolutely rancid vibes, rancid vibes. Speedometer sees Post Malone going full synth pop once again, and there's so much gloss and shimmer and saturation in this mix that the vocal harmonies on the hook just sound like mush. Plus we have painfully on the nose lyrics like turn the lights off and put the record on that you showed me that makes you so horny. Let's make a baby tonight. Deeper into the record, Post has the audacity to pen bars like, record companies really trying to clone me, got these motherfuckers singing karaoke. Well, one, this could maybe be due to the fact that your new records are so formulaic and sound AI generated. Of course you're gonna have randos replicating it. And it's not like the music and sound of this record is entirely original anyway. There are moments on this thing where the guitars and reverbed out vocals and pounding drums resemble that of like an Imagine Dragons song. The track Enough Is Enough sounds like what you would get if you had Jack Antonoff producing a collab between AJR and Morgan Wallen, which is not just a bad song idea, it's also a nightmare blunt rotation. By the time we hit Buyer Beware in the track list, my ears are so fatigued from all of the abuse of reverb that I just want to take a nap. Landmine instrumentally sounds like a Cranberries knockoff, or at the very least the theme song to a tween drama that just had one season in the 90s. Green Thumb lyrically is a portrayal of two exes who have gone their separate ways. The track's melodies and chord progressions are really interesting, curious, winding. It's not the most straightforward song, and I think it's the better for it. Post kind of portrays himself as being in a better place than he would be if he were one of the many guys kind of waiting for this woman to pay attention to him, love him, though in a way he does still seem to be holding out hope. It's one of the better written songs here, even if it doesn't come to the strongest narrative conclusion. And then with the closing cut, we have just a very hollow finish for this record. The dynamics are awful, especially when these just pounding drums come in at the very end, swallowing everything. I don't know why it's mixed and produced like this. It sounds like trash. I'm blown away that this is like allegedly supposed to be a professionally produced mainstream music album. Like, there's countless at-home and DIY producers on the internet that could have put this together better and had it just sounding great. Yeah, not a great record from Posty, unfortunately. Not a great record. A few standout songs here and there, some decent and personal lyrics, but he continues to feed his songs through utterly unflattering production, as well as toss out some truly awful lyrics here and there too. Didn't like this one. Feeling a decent 2 strong 3 on it. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Post Malone, forever.